Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the RideAlong Sports countdown to the college football season. We've just got a few teams into the list. We've just scratched the surface. We've got a lot of ground to cover, but we've reached team number 95 on the list, and that team is the Rice Owls from the American Athletic Conference from right there in Houston, Texas. They play right here at Rice Stadium, a 47,000 capacity stadium built in 1950. At the time that it was built, it was 70,000 capacity. Some things that you didn't know about this stadium: the University of Houston played here from 1951 to 1964. The Houston Oilers, who eventually became the Tennessee Titans, played there from 1965 to 1967 before moving to the Astrodome. And John F. Kennedy had a speech, one of his famous speeches there in September 1962. That was his Let's Go to the Moon speech. So you've probably heard of that in history class. But right here is a very, very interesting fact about Rice Stadium. In 1974, the stadium hosted Super Bowl VIII, where the Miami Dolphins beat the Minnesota Vikings 24-7. There is not many college football stadiums that have that fact attached to them. So let's talk about Rice. So their first season, way back in 1912, they've been in 4 conferences total. Starting from the Southwest Conference, they was in that conference for 81 years, from 1915 to 1996. They were in the WAC from 96 to 2004, and finally Conference USA from 2005 to 2022 before moving to the AAC in 2023. Now, in conference play, over their many years, they've won 1 conference title, and that was the Conference USA title back in 2013, where they beat Marshall 41-24. But if we look at 2024, Mike Bloomgren, head football coach there at Rice, is entering his 7th season. He's had a rocky road the past several years. He's went 22-46 over those 6 seasons, 0-2 in bowl games. Those 2 bowl games being the Lending Tree Bowl in 2022, where they lost to Southern Miss, and they lost last year in the First Responders Bowl versus Texas State. And as we look right here at the 2018 through the 2023 seasons, they haven't had a whole lot of success. They started off rocky, 2-11 before going 3-9. 2-3 in that weird 2020 COVID season, 4-8 in 2021. In 2022, they went 5-8. Now, this was one of those years where they obviously didn't have enough teams that have 6-6 records. So Rice was one of the teams that have 5 wins, but was allowed to play in a bowl game. And then finally in 2023, where they did get over the hump, they went 6-6, but then lost in the bowl game. So what does that mean for 2024? Are they going to continue? Are they going to have 7 wins this year? Are they going to have 8 wins? Well, I'll tell you this. The Owls are returning 81% of their production from 2023. That's 73% on offense and 89% on defense. And that 89% on defense is the most returning defense in the country. That could change between now and the college football season. But as of now, that's the most returning defensive production in the country. What about quarterback? The most important position on the field. Well, JT Daniels, if you know who he is, he's had many stints. He's been to 4 schools. He started at USC, and then he went to Georgia, and then finally went to West Virginia before entering the transfer portal again. And in his 6th season of eligibility, he came to the Rice Owls, where he didn't do terrible, but he's always battled with injury. It's very unfortunate. And on December 1st, 2023, he was forced to hang up the cleats and retire. And this is due to multiple concussions that he's had in his football career. And it was just a doctor's recommendation that he just quit because I guess the danger, if he was to continue to get concussions, it could really end terribly for JT Daniels. So we do hate that for him, but he did what was best for him in his 6th year. So he had a long college career that had ups and downs, but he's on his way out. But E.J. Warner is on his way into Houston to play for the Owls, and if that last name sounds familiar, he is the son of Kurt Warner, Super Bowl 34 champion and 4-time Pro Bowler, among many other accolades. So maybe, some of Kurt's good quarterback play has rubbed off on his son, and they're going to be loaded. This offense is going to be loaded with playmakers, and I really expect Rice to outdo themselves. I do expect them to get over the hump, and I think they're going to have some good progress on both sides of the ball if they can keep turnovers down, if they can maintain good production, and get ahead early in the year to build some confidence. That is going to be the key for them in this season. So what does recruiting look like? Well, they have a 123 composite ranking, 114 in transfers for a 112 overall transfer ranking. So they're really close to the bottom in recruiting. But like I said just a moment ago, they have a lot of players returning, and that's going to be a big key this season. So let's look at their schedule here real quick, and let's see what they have going on. So Sam Houston State starting off on August 31st before they have to play Texas Southern. Then they go to Houston, and then they go to Army on September 21st. Then they'll have Charlotte, UTSA before they have to go to New Orleans to play Tulane. Then they'll travel to Connecticut. Then they play Navy before traveling to Memphis, Tennessee, Liberty Bowl Stadium to play the Memphis Tigers on Friday, November 8th. And then they'll play UAB, and then they'll end their season at home versus South Florida. So they have to play two military schools. That's interesting. They obviously have a chance to break 6 wins to become bowl eligible again. But there are some tough games, and it's going to be some battles here from the first part of the season all the way towards the end. But, let's take a look at some of these rivalries. Main rivalries include the battle for the Mayor's Cup versus SMU. There's the Bayou Bucket Classic versus Houston, the hometown, the other team in Houston. And they've been in a rivalry with the University of Texas since 1914. Texas has dominated. They're 75-21-1 currently in that rivalry. So extremely one-sided there. But that's some major rivalries for Rice. But let's learn a little bit more about the Owls. That name Owl was adopted in 1912. And I'm going to read a excerpt here from the Rice website where it talks about this. So I'll read it here, and I quote, "An early symbol of Rice's athletic teams was a large canvas owl, a tempting target for the Institute's rivals. In 1917, when students from the Southwest Conference football rival Texas A&M kidnapped the owl, Rice students pooled their resources and hired a private detective to go to College Station to find their missing mascot." This was 100 years ago. That sounds like something that would happen in today's time. Some things never change. Some things never change. Continuing here, when the detective, having recovered the owl, sent a coded telegram to Houston saying, "Sammy is fairly well and would like to see his parents at 11 o'clock. The Rice mascot had a name, and forever, Sammy is the name of the mascot, the owl there at Rice." But that is the Rice Owls, number 95 on the RideAlong Sports countdown to the college football season. We continue this. We'll group these together. We'll go 95 to 90, and then 89 to 85, and so on and so forth. I figure it's a little bit easier to have these videos in chunks instead of having one single video each day. When we do get closer to the college football season, I will go back to single videos as we get down to the really big teams. And we're just going to ride this along, and I hope you'll ride along with us. My name is Brandon Taylor. Stay tuned to the channel for much, much more in the next coming days, weeks, and months. And we'll see you on the other side. Peace.